Well, I must say, between last night's reception and the events of today, we are grateful for the opportunity to connect with government on the pressing issues related to supportive housing for the developmental services sector and the need for further investments. Good morning. My name is Ann Bilodeau. I am the CEO of KW Habilitation in Waterloo Region. I'm happy to be here on behalf of the Intentional Community Consortium, known as the ICC. The ICC represents a coalition of 34 organizations from Ontario, and we're all united in our mission, and that is to address the affordable housing crisis faced by people with diverse abilities. Our focus extends beyond mere housing provision. We are equally dedicated to enhancing support services and fostering community engagement. Today, I bring greetings from the Ontario agencies supporting individuals with special needs, known as OASIS, and the Developmental Services Provincial Network, RENA, and Community Living Toronto, and all of the individuals and organizations who share our same commitment in advocating for the need of affordable housing. At the heart of our discussion today lies the fundamental principle that housing is a human right. We are here to showcase our plans to find solutions for deeply affordable housing, which is a crisis that is faced by individuals across Canada. And when we say deeply affordable, we are reflecting on record level rent increases, record low vacancy rents, up against a vulnerable population who relies on social income payments to meet their housing needs. In Ontario, the shelter allowance is $556 a month. I want you to think about that. The developmental services sector remains particularly vulnerable to housing instability and insecurity. According to the most recent National Housing Strategy 2023 report, looking at the commitment for new housing in Canada, there is 31,589 units being committed, and we are grateful. Out of that, 2,400 are earmarked for people with developmental disabilities. To date, 847 units have been made available. To be bold, I'd like to ask the question, have we moved the needle? Have we moved the needle enough? In 2014, 5,246 people with an intellectual disability were living in appropriate housing. 13,000 were on the wait list that year, and every year that wait list grows by 1,200. Might I suggest that we can do better? As a country, we have an obligation to ensure that the most vulnerable Canadians have housing that is safe, accessible, and deeply affordable. We believe there are solutions. We believe that together we need to inspire and encourage more creative ways to provide affordable housing in our communities. April 16th, 2024 is a big day. It's the day the federal government will be presenting the new budget, and we would like to strongly urge that it includes new envelopes of funding for affordable housing. The ICC is here today in Ottawa to share our successes and our struggles in hopes that our government will seriously continue on the path of providing the necessary resources for affordable housing. I would like to start by introducing Lino Fera. Lino is a fellow member of the ICC and a family member and a strong advocate and influencer in our sector. Welcome.
Thank you, Anne, for a warm introduction. Bonjour, good morning. My name is Lino Fera. I'm here today as a director of the Intentional Community Consortium, namely the ICC, but I'm also co-founder of Cribwolf Foundation. But first and foremost, I am the proud father of a beautiful young man who is now 37 years old with developmental disabilities, or more favorably expressed as diverse abilities. It is disheartening, frustrating, and disappointing for me and other parents caring for persons with diverse abilities to accept that in 2024, Canadians are still confronted with extremely long wait lists for affordable and deeply affordable supportive housing for persons with diverse abilities. The wait list, as you have heard, is in the thousands, and growing every year. In Halton, where I reside, there is no housing projects that mirror the friendly and inclusive multi-residential communities for persons with diverse abilities, such as the ones created by KW Habilitation and RENA in their respective regions. At a recent engagement, I was approached by a mother who said to me, "Life, Lino, is not easy for children, teens and adults with diverse abilities. I am sure that we as parents have endless sleepless nights, anxiety through the roof, and countless struggles, navigating a world, unfortunately, not designed for persons with diverse abilities. It is very exhausting, and the work required to care for persons with diverse abilities is never-ending. It starts in the morning with a healthy breakfast, followed by organizing their day, and does not end till they are safe in bed. And this is our life for 365 days of the year." I do echo this mother's message as a parent of a young man who I know wants very much to be involved and be part of his community. He likes to exercise independence, personal growth, and to be employed, engaged with others. For every Canadian, you have heard that housing is a human right. It is a right to live in safety and dignity in a decent home. But for individuals with diverse abilities, the right to decent housing is much more than a roof over one's head. Every parent needs the assurance that their son or daughter will transition from their loving home to his or her living arrangement, one that is accessible, deeply affordable, and inclusive. A living arrangement that allows for independence and choice. A residential community that allows them to live in harmony with others without fear or prejudice. A place that allows adults with diverse abilities, personal growth, improved life skills, and to be fully engaged with the community they grew up in. Yes, the question that many parents need to understand is, how do we resolve the housing crisis? Specifically, the lack of affordable and deeply affordable supportive housing for persons with diverse abilities. I, like many parents, caring for a person with diverse abilities, am aging. I believe that succession planning must include housing options that are real and not just simply architectural drawings and promises. I have learned a great deal over the years as a volunteer with various not-for-profit organizations, and it is apparent that no task, especially those that have such an important impact on the quality of life for persons with diverse abilities, that can be accomplished single-handedly. If history has taught us anything, it is that we must work in collaboration. Governments can be a significant catalyst to solving this monstrous housing crisis with the collaboration of federal, provincial, and municipal leaders, along with private sector and parents. Parents will continue to advocate for equitable housing solutions. And I do believe that we must begin to put shovels in the ground and start building affordable and deeply affordable supportive housing now, not later. I'm certain that everyone would agree with me that nothing speaks greater than actions. Thank you, everyone. And now I'd like to introduce to the podium Joel.
Thank you. Good morning. I am honored to be here today to share my story with you. I am a RENA resident. Calling RENA a residence doesn't really say enough. It is a home. To me, home is a safe place of friendship, community, and support. Home is a place where you can grow and develop into the best you. Home is inclusive. RENA is all of this and more to me. RENA is my home. I was born 16 weeks early. I am autistic. I say autistic with a capital A. It is my identity, just as Canadian is my identity with a capital letter. I have intellectual and developmental disabilities, IDD. I am a mental health service user and I have multiple complex medical needs. RENA first accepted me as part of what's called crisis intervention. I was very sick and needed 24/7 care. Lino provided a safe place for me to recover. Since then, I've signed my own lease and live in my very own semi-independent apartment. I'm turning 28 next week, and I love having the independence of my own place that provides the support I need. I have returned to college. I am now in a postgraduate program studying autism and behavioral sciences. I have come a long way. Much of my success is down to having secure housing. I recognize that I am one of the fortunate few. There are long waiting lists for housing for people with IDD. Some of my friends will have to wait for decades. Many are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, living with elderly caregivers. Many will have to wait until there's a death or crisis before they are prioritized. And by then, the move is very traumatic. Adults with IDD have high rates of homelessness. I saw fellow patients discharged from psychiatric units and sent to shelters, while I transitioned back to my safe home with the Lino community. We need more housing for our population. As a final point, I would like to mention developmental support workers, DSWs. DSWs are the frontline specialists who work very long hours supporting people like me. DSWs deserve respect. Greater pay is a huge way to respect them. We depend on our DSWs. We cannot be supported if they are overstretched or burnt out. I hope that my story makes a difference. Lino's housing and support staff help me to live a life that is meaningful, a life where I contribute to wider Canadian society. I hope that the government will provide more housing like Lino for the IDD community. Thank you. And now I will introduce my friend and colleague, Ingo.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Ingo Kumberg. My Parliament speech written on March 7th, 2024. The staff at Lino does very well in taking care of my wants and my needs. I am an artist, and I enjoy the many moments I get to experience my art at Lino. I have joined and completed the study for the Bloor Research Institute, where I not only interviewed but created artwork for my favorite places to be at Lino, including the multipurpose room. I enjoy learning about the Jewish cultures, celebrations, and customs while at Lino. I also enjoy outings such as visiting therapy dogs and going to see pro wrestling at the Lino Rumble event. My staff and I have monthly lessons where I learn American Sign Language. Lino has become a second home to me. The friends I have made here have become a family to me because of all of the moments that Lino provides. I would encourage you all to stop by and see all of the kind things we do for each other here at Lino. I am reaching my fitness goals at the gym at Lou Fruitman, and I enjoy scrapbooking and gardening programs with the staff that Lino provides. I have other activities like cooking with my roommate buddy Patrick and other friends. We make healthy pizza that helps with my fitness goals here at RENA. I have more activities that I enjoy here, as you can see. I like to stay very busy and active. These activities are karaoke Thursdays with the rest of my friends and staff in the multipurpose room. We have night where we play games like Crazy Eights and puzzle games and a map of the world. We also have another building next door to us called the Toby and Henry Battle Development Center at 927 Clark Avenue West, where we come together for music jam and science and one-on-one exercising with RENA Fit. I believe RENA is a top example of how communities and societies can come together and should treat each other, and I encourage you all to pay us a visit at 919 Clark Avenue West. We will be happy to have you join us. Thank you.
Listening to self-advocates, listening to families, that's what it's all about. That's what inspires us, someone like me who's been involved in the sector for many decades. But we need that inspiration to be spread wide. We will continue to advocate that the Government of Canada commit funding from the National Housing Strategy to a prioritized investment in housing for people living with intellectual disabilities. Local municipalities and developmental service agencies can and will work together to determine how these funds are used locally. But first, we need financial support. Even if there's just one tidbit of information that really resonates with you, our call to action is this: please help us. Continue to spread the word on the affordable housing crisis that we hear about every day, but let's do something about it. And stand with us as we move forward exploring and creating solutions. Thank you for joining us this morning.
If you have a question, now would be the time to use your raise hand function. Journalists are a little shy today, so this is what concludes our press conference today. Merci beaucoup.